And good evening. Welcome to Focus Podcasts number 23. And doing a different time slot tonight, going a little earlier. And just bring myself in here. How's it going, folks? Let me just control some of that volume here. Yeah, I'll just turn it right off. I'm having a bit of a technical snafu to start the show. Do something different, and my equipment doesn't like me. I don't know. I had a bad cable, so I had a bad XLR. I had to troubleshoot that, and something's going on with my Focusrite too, and the focus ain't right. Oh, there we go. And the cable, one of the cables, I'm having an issue with. So, oh well, it's the tools of the trade. And I had to make sure the coffee didn't overspill. So welcome to my living room again, and it's light out. And it was getting warm just as I came back from having a stroll outside. And yeah, we're doing this earlier time slot tonight, and it's going to stay like this moving forward because future guests will be from overseas, and their time slot will be, we're trying to allocate that too so we can broadband our audience across the ocean. And that's what this is all about, is just kind of like keeping people together through this lockdown, and bringing in musicians, talking to them, asking them what they've been doing, have they been creating anything new, or are they thinking about live shows soon. So this is just a way to connect as if I were touring, and stay in touch, and a way to bring in solo artists to kind of showcase what they do. And today is another Bandcamp Friday. This is Bandcamp waives their 15% fee. Usually they take 15% of an album sale, and the first Friday of each month they've been waiving that fee since the pandemic started. And that's a huge um, thumbs up to Bandcamp for doing that and initiating that. Because artists like myself are not generating any revenue from not touring, but also seeing opportunities like this to share content and uh, maybe cross audiences and stuff like that. So I had to catch my breath. I'm sorry, I'm running around, and I actually had to do work. That was fun. That was like live television. It's like I wanted to get to air for 7 o'clock. I got to air at 7:01, and it was a botched cable, and that's what I do, or I did for 15 years. Live television, scramble, get some done, get her done, and the show goes on. That's fun. I like doing that. Anyways, I'm just drifting off here. I'm gonna get my guest in here, EM, and I'm just gonna do a little introduction. September, some artists in Toronto, we were kind of blessed to get the word of mouth that there was a open mic going on at a Painted Lady, a venue in the West End that most artists in the city are familiar with. But we got to hit the stage, which was nice for a night, and do an open mic. And I had met this young man before, I believe, but we got to talking at this open mic, and got to experience that uh, refreshing of going back on stage again. And we got to showcase him at the Painted Lady, doing a full show. which we showcased myself. We had Acoustic 7, and we had a Rebecca, excuse me, for Bex and the Disappointment, a rock band here in Toronto. So I'm going to bring in my guest here while I blab along. And EM,
Hey, how you doing? Focus, man.
and
Uh,
split screen works.
yeah,
First
I'm
shot,
loving it, man.
believe it. You're
Like,
the
what is that? An air hug?
air hug. Yo, you're the first one where the split screen work.
Oh, this is beautiful, man. This is
MJ, welcome. MJ with the shot 23. Welcome. It's
yeah,
mm,
kicking goals, man.
nice to see you, man.
Yeah, it's good to see you. We're both wearing hats. You know,
I like. I'm gonna give you a check mark on your appropriate headroom. It's called for your shot for the headroom of the hat too. You can't cut it off. If you have something like that, that's the rule of thumb. When you're as a camera operator and you're shooting,
yeah.
you have to have that lead headroom. But if there's a hat that has extra room, that shot has to be a little. So great shot.
So if it was focused in a bit more,
No, it looks great.
it would be mysterious because you wouldn't know where it ended, right?
Yeah, it would just
Whether it's a 10
bleed into the
gallon or
ceiling. How big is the hat, really?
have you ever watched The Holy Mountain? The guy who's like meditating, his hat, the 10-gallon hat he wears is just something else.
Oh, just into the sky.
Yeah, it's insane. Anyways, man, thank you so much for um, doing this and organizing this. And yeah,
No
beautiful.
problem, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is we're just another brick in the wall. This is my metaphorical wall. And this is the shrine of 20 years on the grind. And
beautiful.
I don't know, I just started doing this setup for IG because it was simple.
Yeah.
And the room is my back room. I have a sunroom. It was a little too cold in the winter, so I was just like, oh, I'll just do something simple here because I don't need speakers or anything. And then I liked it, and so it worked. This is the whole backdrop of my music video, actually, for the papers. And
Okay.
yeah, it's here. Actually, there's a photo that got turned into a piece of artwork. That's from the music video. But anyways, yeah, thank you for the compliment of the corner. It's nice. It's my easy backdrop. It's simple. So it's I think it works too because there's a little depth, there's like the corner of it, and
Ah,
I belong in the corner. So
I dig it. It's like, do you remember the early breakfast television days?
oh
Um,
yeah. Yes,
with
sir.
like, I remember like Kevin and I can't remember the lady's name. Anyways, he had like one of the greatest co-hosts is what like the two hosts, and it would feel so homely. So this is kind of like I know it kind of gives me that vibe, this homely um, breakfast television vibe.
Welcome to dinner television.
Good evening, America.
Good evening. Hello, Ontarians. Uh, so EM is a rapper like myself, a younger fella,
Rap,
and
rap,
bah,
yeah.
bah, bah, bah. So yeah, we did a show for you in at the Painted Lady, and
Yeah,
just
man.
kind of give an introduction of yourself and like what happened when all this went down, and like what's been going on with you since, like
Specifically around the show,
just
or
no, just like, yeah, just kind of give yourself an introduction and then a spiel with the show if you want, and then just say what you've been doing since lockdown. Really,
okay. Let's see. Um, I'm E.M.Lourde. It's E.M.L.O.U.R.D.E. So those are my first initials, and that's my stage name as well. Um, I produce, I rap, I kind of do the singing, crooning thing. I'm fascinated with a lot of just you know bass, baritone voices. from Bruce Springsteen to Johnny
The
Cash to even like newest one, like I guess within hip hop would have been Pop Smoke or just like
yeah,
really
yeah.
like deep
Do you
voices.
remember Nate Dogg? You like
Oh
listen to
yeah,
Nate?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Nate,
yeah.
I love all of that.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm just thinking about the songs that were easy for me to sing when I was younger.
yeah, yeah. Me
Um,
too.
and I like to write. I love poetry, and I enjoy performing. So a huge part of my time was spent just performing live, especially at the open mics. And Painted Lady was like a second home. Nelson is like one of the best hosts you can ever hope to meet within the city, and he created such a space where that's where Focus and I met, and just the culture that surrounds the place, from Rebecca to I guess like all the local artists that come through, that's like Prince, Holly. Um, we also have some new names like Karina, and like there's a lot of really talented artists that go through that place. And I was blessed enough that I met Focus there. We ended up having we sorry, he ended up setting up a show that involved live streaming, and it was one of the most amazing things that I've ever done. And I am so grateful for that opportunity, just to be on that stage and to share that space with such um, a talented human that also adds value to others, and that's something that I'll always be grateful for. And it was one of the most like positive things of the year
You're
because
welcome, man. I'm
yeah,
glad it helped. Yeah.
it was a sad time as well. Like we were only just getting kind of used to this new normal and trying to figure things out, So that was a really great, great, great opportunity. And I thank you for creating that. And I thank you for Nelson for creating such a, safe community, to make that happen. And yeah.
Yeah, the Painted Lady is a venue, Ossington and Dundas, and like everything else, got completely shut down. And like I said, for a short window, like September, October, maybe, Nelson Sobral, who was on the podcast here last week, and we had a great conversation. He runs the open mic, been running the open mic for 4 years there every Monday night, which is like a world class open mic. It's like brought out so much talent and like and grown so much talent too. Um, so we had this window of opportunity to like there was time to play. So there was just word of mouth that some artists came and played, and you showed up and we talked and saw each other perform, and it was great. And to mingle and to do that thing and to get that like that high again of like playing on a stage and going home with that. That was nice. But yeah, I saw an opportunity for something to happen because I was just learning this uh, broadcasting thing a year ago, like just streaming stuff and just experimenting and stuff like that. And then I bought a thing which is called ATM Mini. It's like a little switcher. So it's like you plug the cameras in and you're able to do a multi-camera live stream thing with it with these lower thirds, down here, and then the video, and so you can do a multi-camera set. And then so yeah, we set it up there. We had you as one, and it was fantastic. It was great, and you know it's good to set it up like professionally and stuff like that. But if it doesn't have the wheels of the music, it's like just it looks okay. But you brought a performance, man, and you really like it felt like there was an audience there that was, but it was only a selective few that were allowed to be there. It didn't seem like we were just shooting it for you. You were good at projecting that. Like you took the attitude of like, there's 1,000 people here, and it was a great performance. And
It did,
yeah, and
it did feel like that. You know what?
we snuck
Um,
it in. We got
it,
so lucky, man.
yeah, we
So
did.
lucky. Yeah. and they locked it down. Yeah.
I was gonna say I performed in front of like such amazing, talented artists, you know, and just having that opportunity felt like it just felt important, you know, that I should try my best, and I think I try to do that with every performance. But I'm glad that it came off like that because I was really, I had a lot of nerves. I had spoken to my partner earlier in the day, and I'm like, hey, are you gonna tune in? You know, like what's going on? Um, I'm just it was a great opportunity. I learned so much about myself during that. Um, and I think that it's something that, you know, going forward, you should continue doing as soon as the opportunity presents itself. And it adds so much value, you know. And I think that even having the type of gratitude that I have towards you for that opportunity is something else, you know. So um, forever,
No
man.
worries, man. It's just the construct of what we do, you know? We're musicians, we're rappers, we're artists, we're just helping each other out. And, I got helped out from other people. And then you just pass it on. It's just when the opportunity presents itself, you just do it as much as you can, really. And if you have things in your ability to share them, you might as well, So that's what I felt. There was an opportunity at the Painted Lady, and they were so open minded to get going. And I think, I hope. Well, things I do believe are going to open soon, but it's going to put them ahead of the curve. Like we snuck in a few shows, and that was basically kind of like trial and error. We got all the things, and shout out to Nikki Porter, who arranged everything with me at the Painted Lady, and a lot of patience for my like long days of being there and troubleshooting stuff. But I think so. You and I were speaking in September at those open mics about you were trying to organize some sort of cipher thing. You wanted to get it documented, and then you spoke to me recently, and I don't know. It was probably 2 days after we spoke. There was like another lockdown announcement,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like, yeah, I don't. We don't shoot. So yeah, you want to give me up to speed on that, and our viewers up to speed on that, what you were culminating up until you were forced to lock down like all of us.
I was blessed enough to um, like have a community that surrounds me, and it's called Pegasus Community. Just kind of represents like, you know, all the artists, you know, ready to fly, and so many artists have earned their wings, but they don't have the infrastructure to, you know, share their art or to kind of have that support system. So I wanted to create some sort of platform that showcased these artists and like really um, embraced them as well and added value, you know, without like, you know, seeming like too, I don't know, like brand driven or something.
Yeah,
So what we would do is on Saturday afternoons, we'd meet up for a specific time, usually 3 o'clock in the afternoon until 6. We'd all share music. And it was such a powerful thing. And the way that it all began was also a fascinating story because I went out to busk. Like, I'm like, restrictions are kind of laxed. Maybe I could busk and have a good day. And I had some CDs with me, and I had some other merch to sell, like some posters. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna set up in the middle of Kensington. I'm gonna have some fun. It's been tough in the house, so uh, yeah, I got out there. I started performing. A lot of friends that I've played with before, and a lot of the community that I've seen around, they came to me and they just said hello, to the point where they started hanging out while I was playing. And then I got asked by one of my friends, like I saw him there, and I'm like, hey, like, do you have any new music or whatever? And he's just like, yeah. And from that point on, he shared it, and then it was just great. Like so many more people joined in. They're like amazed by his music. His name is Gifted. He recently released a single, which is amazing. It's doing very well. Very
dope.
received around the city. He has such a great voice, and him and I went to high school together, which is,
And
kind
you
of,
ran into each other there.
yeah, it's a full circle moment, and it was one of those blessings that you just have. And um, so as the day continued, more musicians came by and they wanted to share their own stuff, and that's what kind of initiated that idea. There was never a plan for that, and I just saw an opportunity. I'm like, wow, like this could actually be a thing. And from then on, every Saturday, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m. Um, that's it. You show up with your stuff, with your talents, and you'll have a community to support you. We'll eat together, we'll drink together. And one of the last events that we did was actually for a charity event, which was I think the sorry, I forgot what it was called. I'm trying to remember the initials, which I don't want to give you the wrong initials. It's like E. Basically, like their initials are like ECS. So it's an encampment, right? The encampment
Yeah.
support network. I'm not too sure how the initials go, but they were there. They needed a group of musicians to, I guess, support and share their artistic ideas about what's going on with the houseless individuals being evicted from the parks in the city. And
Yeah. There's a lot.
yeah, us, like our crew, a tribe of artists, we took to that and we performed at Trinity Bellwoods as well. It was such a powerful moment to see all of us out at one time. I have lots of footage from that. I haven't used it yet. I want to make sure that we create such a great atmosphere, and it's all in the works. And I'm just really glad that Pegasus community is a thing now.
And I remember we did a test for this podcast a couple of days ago, and we were talking about doing a documentary. And you're like, "What?
Yeah,
Well, how do I go about the steps of doing a documentary?" And like, I don't know, just document it, right? And that's you're doing there, you're doing that right there. That's pretty awesome. And you know, I listened to something today where it's like this: if you did something in the summer, like if you did anything in the summer, it was pretty profound because it was like it was the first time in history where we all were locked up, and then there was a window of opportunity for somebody, a few people to do a few shows, right?
yeah,
So, and yeah, so that's exciting, refreshing and to run into somebody as well. That's pretty cool,
massive.
and somebody that you're gonna do future work with, and um, yeah. So we spoke a couple of weeks ago, and I was gonna get involved with you, and then like 2 days later, it shut down. So where do you stand on it now? Are you just kind of like organizing it a little more and just waiting your time
Um, I,
because we're
I,
just all waiting to
yeah, no, that's a fair call. Like I reached out
we're
to you
all just
because
waiting. Yeah.
I remember speaking to you about this before it was even a thing. It was just kind of an idea, and I expected you to kind of be out with me while this was happening, and for us to kind of have some sort of cipher going on.
I
And
was ready.
it just naturally happened. And I have the group online, so I send mass messages to everybody that's part of the group. There's about
Nice.
I think like 45 people within the group right now. And I just like we speak to each other. I ask them what they need for support, any ideas to improve the group, and just basically, ways to be a bit more efficient, for artists and to support in a healthy way and build a healthy, strong community. Yeah. So, anyways, like that's it's gonna be a thing, and recently I've been speaking to two of the members who um, are a crew called Made Menace, and it involves this MC Pasquale from Brooklyn, and this other MC and producer from Toronto named Ray. His name is like Raz Beats Production, and he like they both like spoke to me, and Ray he let me know that he wants to um, do something similar where they're performing a bit more outside and it's a bit more structured
Yeah,
and
yeah.
really kind of like putting on a show and that showmanship, but kind of busking with
Organized, a little organized
very
busking.
organized.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so anyways, like I'm in full support of those guys. They're just both so talented. And shout out to the Maid Menace, Soldier. Um, they're
Mm.
they're they're both two of the best, like humans that you could meet, and just super talented. Shout out to those guys.
Yeah, well, you're putting in the groundwork, man. So whenever things doors open, figuratively speaking, you're gonna be ready. You're gonna have something to go with and build community already, and those things are gonna be so vital coming out of, I don't know, however we view viewing music going on from now, and I think the way to enhance it and to survive it is the community based, right? So it's like that's what we were aiming for with the painted lady. And my mic is acting up today. Uh, and we had visions of kind of incorporating small businesses as well, involved in a full live broadcast of like real commercial breaks with like real stings, and like there's a doorway on the stage where it's all blank, and Nikki and I were talking about like a local beer sponsor and stuff like that, so it's all ready to go, and so that's another question I've been asking all the artists is like, with this technology and doing stuff like this and interacting with stuff like this, what's your view on it going forward, like doing live shows? I think it's here to stay. It's like it's going to be an integral part of live shows and stuff like that. What's your view?
I believe that using like I view it all as tools, and I think that it's important to utilize everything that you need um, to get your message across, and to communicate properly. So if that involves video or just being outside, or meeting somebody face to face rather than sending them a message, you just have to utilize the tools that you have. And like I said, especially with video editing and things like that, and the role that you've played is just such a massive one. I think you've really brought some sort of infrastructure to the local music scene that like you rarely see. And if you do see it, it's always by
Thanks, man.
um, like yeah, like bigger media groups, and so you've really brought that kind of quality to the city, and it's amazing. It's in the heart of the city as well. And I'm really entertained by the fact that there's going to be more, and you're doing this out of passion, and you've involved so many members of the community, and that's going to be something that lifts you up, and you're they embrace you like I embrace you a lot. So thank you. Um, and I'm sure I'm like speaking
Cheers.
on behalf of a lot of people. It's such a powerful thing.
There's some kind words, and I feel growth in that sense of awareness of community. You know, especially with the online things too. That shout out to Nelson for holding that strong. On Monday nights, and my buddy Mip uh, killing the open mic on Wednesdays, the Parkdale open mic, and I did something on camera that I'm glad I did the other night. I cried on her show. I had like a little meltdown at the end of my show because I did a song that I had never done online, and I remembered it about somebody that did, and it just it was a nice. I felt safe with her in a way, like we were in a green room or something. It didn't seem like it seemed like her and I were at the painted lady, just chilling, having a beer. So it's like I I understand it's like tough with screen time and stuff like that, but I think it's we're kind of lucky in this day and age for this to happen. Like even if this happened 5-10 years ago, it's like to be able to like broadband speak and split screen and all this shit, it's like there's a little sense of togetherness with this technology. So it's like I'm encouraged by the use of it, right? So it's like you said, it's a tool. It's like anything. It's like a tool. It's how you're gonna use it, and like how are we gonna use it? And I think the driving force behind most tools is connectivity. To connect with the community, to connect with each other, to communicate. So yeah, and the things that you're doing with the cipher and stuff like that, that's integrating community in the arts as well, which I'm really like hoping that this platform can provide too. It's like, and I'm from the old school Much Music days. Of the Much Music days was like all production. It like really emphasized on the music. It really emphasized on live shows. It emphasized on like artwork was showcased. Like they had shows that were fashion shows. They were all like made there too by talented people. And I have 20 years of broadcast experience, and I just feel like that passion for music was missing, that element, because there's there's a selective few that get to do big shows in Canada, and it's like when you're in the group, like they're kind of recycled, you know what I'm saying? And so it's it's hard to get a good budget and good people to do focus in on local. And I thought this was a great opportunity to do this, and emerge out of it, because I saw uh you know nobody else was doing it as well, right? And I wanted to get on with my career, and I wanted to move on and learn more, and go kind of forward with broadcasting. um but I knew all the people involved in the city. I reached out to a lot of the venues to see what they were doing, actually. And there was one venue, the Burdock. Not sure if you're familiar with that one. It's on Dufferin and Bloor. It's a great venue. But they are all facilitated for this. They were ready to go. So the pandemic was just kind of like timing for them. They can do shows within. Um, yeah, and the Horseshoe maybe was doing something with like one camera,
Yeah.
nothing special. And then the El Macombo, which was like poor El Macombo. The timing was bad, because like the day they had a press conference for their opening was like the day after that everything closed. They're like, shut everything down. But they're fully equipped to do streaming. They got full pro like control room cameras and a jib and all that stuff. They're like, once things are able to have a steady flow of crowd, that place is going to be the centerpiece for live music again in Toronto. So, you know, it's I think it's part of a transition, but I don't know. I think there's opportunity. There's so much opportunity, like you said, doing a cipher in the park, where once you have the temperature on your side and you have more light on your side, and this technology getting a little easier, you can go out anywhere in the park and broadcast live with your phone, tether it to your laptop or whatever, or you don't even need that. You just do it with your phone. Everything's so capable now. And then that's your stage outside, right? So it's like, it to each his own. I think it's like whatever your creativity is gonna muster up for you. There's lots of opportunities to showcase this now. But how is it like? Because I know myself, I'm kind of like a busybody, right? Like, so it's like I'm always working, I'm going here and there, and I've been kind of like isolated in my own neighborhood, and I'm not complaining at all. It's a nice neighborhood. It's there's the lake is close by, but Um, like you work, so has it really like affected a lot of your social life? I know it's like it's fucked
Mm,
everybody up really. It's like
At at the at the beginning of all this, I I haven't really spoken about it, so this is really something.
oh sorry, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just tailing off here.
Let's see. By the way, you
Oh, you
mentioned.
don't have to answer any of that.
No, no, I am gonna answer it, but I just had something to say about the El Macumbo. That was one of the very first. That was the very first venue I ever performed at while I was in high school.
Really?
Yeah. And it was a packed out show. It wasn't my personal show, but it was a band that I was with, and it was a battle of the bands, and I got to do my own set. I got to bring
Is
on
there
my
a
own
clip on
band.
YouTube here?
I don't have any clips, but I
Oh,
do
okay.
have a photo of it on Facebook. Um,
Dope.
and one of my friends like still has the tickets till this day. And I remember her showing it to me a little while ago and just kind of being inspired by it and just thinking like, you know what, this city really is, one of the best place to be an artist. Um,
Check mark. Yeah.
all right, so shout out to El Macumbo. But moving on, I at the beginning of the pandemic, I I never knew that I had anxiety,
Hmm.
and I think like this was something that was very new to me. And I kind of like, would work myself to the bone, and I was just really anxious about a lot of things, but I didn't know, and it took a toll on my health, myself, until the fact that I ended up in the back of an ambulance. Um,
Wow.
because I didn't know what was happening to me, and I never really spoke about it, but that's the real price of this pandemic for me,
Well,
and
thanks for sharing. I'm glad you're all right, man. I didn't
yeah,
know about
yeah,
that
I'm
even.
I'm I'm blessed. I am healthy, and but I just learned so much about myself. I learned so much about my mom, my sister, and I started to understand more and be a lot more mindful about health and even mental health and the way that we communicate with each other. And having that clarity inspired me to make a song called Clarity. And just kind of moving on from that, I've learned so much, and all I kind of want to do is just add value to those around me and to be an integral part of, their life. Because, I mean, if we can support each other, we can grow together, we can grow old and still remember these times. And, yeah, I just remember being flat out like tired, and just anxious about the future and not knowing what to do, and um, that taking such a toll that now I'm just so grateful for everything that I do have, and I try to do my best. Like I use my time to be as productive as I can. I do have downtime with my partner, which is great, and I do spend time with my family. So it's like all these things are kind of it's all one. It's all interconnected, So your relationships and your art and the
Definitely.
way
Yeah.
you treat others is all interconnected. And um, anyways, that's the price of the pandemic, but it also came with a great. It added a lot of value to me. So you got to take the sun and the rain at the same time. So
Yeah, that's the double-edged sword of this too. Like I can relate, and I'm sure everybody else, a lot of people can relate. Um, I, been laid off for like 400 days. Not laid off, but just like not needed.
yeah,
And, it's like this. I haven't been off this work since I was like 12 years old. It's like I've been working at least summer jobs since I was 12 years old.
geez, man, yeah,
Um, whatever. But it's on the other hand, it's like it's able me to catch up on so much stuff, like 10 years of juggling everything, and also kind of like mental health, and then I think it also showed me a lot of work I still need to do with, internal work and mental health and just in health in general, and just like putting a value on um risk again, and kind of like um enjoying the process of it and just kind of like going through with something for not the purpose of money again, because I figured it'll work out again. It's just like, it's not that bad. I only have a little bit of debt. And I'd say I got into like a cruise control kind of mode for a while where it's not like I didn't do it for the money. It's like I had a job that paid well, but it was more on like, cruise control. It was just like show up and it's like easy to do. So I'll take the money. And I didn't like it for a long time. So like just made me fucking miserable. Like I was to the point, and I wish I see some people now that I've worked with that I was like, and I've apologized after, but I was like gnarly, like a rabid dog. You wouldn't want to be around me, like it's just to the point that a lot of people wouldn't understand, right? Because it's like the job and the environment I get to be around, it's like amazing, cool, like the Raptors and the Leaf games, you get to be there, and but there's a lot of elements to what I do day to day that just like tediously fucking annoying, you know. So I look at, and now I've finally given the full realization that this is more of a blessing that's been given to me. Like it's like I've been asking for it in so many ways, and now it's like here, giving it to me in the most rawest form, shake me up form of all, you know. And it's like, here's your wake up call. If you don't move now, then forget it, It's like, so I've just like had an epiphany now about it, like really actually speaking about this in the last hour or so. It's it's I feel like it's, you hit a point where a breaking point, like you did,
Yeah.
where I did a couple of weeks ago, where it's like that's you pushing to do the change. It's such a difficult change, such a huge change. It's going to take so much energy to shift out of that comfort zone, and something drastic might happen, And there's some weird anomalies that happened to me in my 20s, and it was like right around a date paradigm where I had to make some serious decisions in my life. You know what I mean? Where it's like I don't know. I'm not a doctor or anything, but I can attribute a lot of the stuff to like mental anxiety and worry. You know what I mean? It's like I I was out of school. I was like 21, and I was like searching everywhere to get a job in television and film and stuff like that. Nothing, nowhere. And it was like 7, 8 months. I couldn't get a volunteer job, and nothing, no biting. And I went out drinking with my sister. We had just like 2 beers one night. And then the next morning, I went to the washroom downstairs, and I was looking in the mirror and I blacked out, and I like fell forward and like smacked my head on the sink, like KO'd, completely knocked out, fell like against the door. So like they had to like pry the door to get me in. And it was just like no traces of anything after. It was just like some weird fucking epileptic seizure. And I don't even know it was epilepsy or just blacked out and I knocked my fucking head, or I don't know, but I was, it was a period of my life that was like really overbearing things for me mentally that I was like shifting into, so I feel like kind of had a breakdown a couple of weeks ago. I feel like that's relatable to me again in a way, where it's just like there's something in you like that drives you so intensely that you can't ignore it. It's like your body will shut down or something. Like there's something in you that'll drive you, that'll push you to change or something, and it's good for you, or it's like on the other end it's going to be better for you, so it's like, yeah, these are opportunities like you said, it's like I could have done a lot of things too that would perpetuate like a negative downward spiral too in this lockdown and stuff like that. But I chose not to. I just like, all right, it's a mental game. So it's like I just like fooled myself. I would get up and get dressed like I was going to work or something, and just like sit at the desk and just work at this um, streaming or try something out and write, do something, and also kind of work on treating the social media stuff like a business, like a 9 to 5 business, and allocating that proper time to every echelon of, at the end of the day, like, we can all be realistic. We want to sell our music and we want it to make money, right? Like, that's part of this. It's the sell. Like, I want to do this to have a comfortable living, okay living, or it would like supplement my income or something. I do it for the drive, for the love of the art, 100% first thing. But I do all the other stuff, the art stuff, to try and sell it a little to compensate, right? So a few years ago, I had a nice apartment and I like really started that. I started treating that stuff like a 9 to 5, And then this is like just before Spotify came out. So I was like in that world of like SoundCloud coming up, like 7 years ago, like 2014, 2015, just when it's like bubbling out and people are starting to get noticed out of it, right? So it's like, I think that there's a viable source of out income in it, as well as like being true to your art as well. So you can like treat it like a 9 to 5 all day. It's like, okay, I'm gonna get up, do my regiment, whatever, do some Twitter and some Facebook for an hour. And that's just networking and just like sharing my stuff. I'm not looking at junk because it's all junk, like emotional stuff, that brings you in. Just stay away from that shit and just like sign up to music pages, anything to do with music, all the like Spotify sharing ones. They are fucking shitloads of them. And they're just like other markets in the States that have so much bigger audiences. And like, I'm on groups that are in India and all over the place. So it's like eventually you'll see income with it, but it has to come with like strict dedication with it, as well as like a steady pace of content too, right? So I was lucky to have like an archive of that shit, and I was on the tail end of finishing up an album anyways, right? So just as the pandemic lockdown started last year, I got to do my vocals for 2 months in my place that is my engineer home, and I was lucky to sneak that in, get it in, and then I could just go back and forth with emails on the.
Yeah, not hearing a thing, man. No luck. No luck. There we go.
Oh, it's my this focus right, and I hate to say it. It's my pride and joy. It's my mixer, but I think I need it tweaked. Just cut.
Yeah, it's gone again.
Check, check.
There you are.
1, 2. Hold on. I'm gonna replace the cable. Give me a second.
I
My
think
bad.
you're okay for now.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What we should do. Let's show everybody this clip we're talking about. If you want to set it up, this painted lady thing. Open it up for us to view.
Yeah, that'd be dope. Holy, that's cool. Like so many, like
Yeah, it's a little.
look.
So I'll open it up here. Yeah, we did a live show at the Painted Lady, and EM was one of the artists we did a showcase for. And this is all your new stuff, right? This was kind of brand new.
Yeah. I'm working on a project called Trusting God. Shameless self-promotion, but I'm wearing a shirt right now. And the album Trusting God songs are on. I mix. Sorry, there's a bit of a delay.
Yeah, here I haven't played it yet, so I was just you can give a little intro.
Okay.
But you can see it okay, right?
Yeah. I a lot of these songs in this very room here. And I mixed on 2012 MacBook and I boop the speakers and I use to mix it. So I put in speakers and headphones to mix it, and I try to use monitor, but I can't do it here.
Yeah.
They're a kid in the neighborhood. It's just a little. So I could. Yeah.
Here, let's roll a clip of this this live performance we did.
But listen, sweeter the juice, the blacker the fruit, it's a blessing. Little weapon, not a cult, it's a religion. Dancing with the evil, finally learn to keep the rhythm. Hoodie keep me hitting for that head-to-head collision. Dickies for my pants and my Nikes for the jam. Well, we seen them boys you dissing, so you know we going ham. These my niggas and they always down the ride. Play the villain or the victim, you decide. When you ain't got no choice to run or hide, you was making all that noise, so I don't mind. They hit you where the sun don't shine, and then again hit you with it one more time, and then we dip. Running down the strip, now we gotta catch a train. Hopping over turnstiles, we was crying in the rain. Why nobody ever listen? I just pray the Lord forgive him. Only loyal to my niggas, why they love to treat us different? Why nobody ever listen? Say we always look suspicious, we put fear in everybody. Guess we always be the villains. We could never be the victims, even when we be the victims. They paint us as the villains. Why nobody ever listen? Guess we never listen.
Yeah, this is so
really
really.
It's nice.
Energy comes around, they don't listen to us. And that could drive you crazy.
See it all right, eh? I can't see the screen.
Yeah. Lord, give us light straight through the night. Baby, I'm a madman. Right hand on the Bible, got it in my left hand. I've been fighting back, I don't wanna be a sad man. Come where I'm from, if you push me, I'm a savage. Yeah, and baby, I'm a madman.
I just want to perform that. I just
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I kind of just like teasing.
Oh man, jeez.
Yeah.
Reliving that moment and that heat on stage is just.
That was electric, dude. That was like a performance. Like I said, like that electricity we got just to go to the open mic, just to do one on stage thing. But you bringing that, man, that was. Thank you so much for doing that. And I had some real high end professional people working with me that night too, and they were blown away, man. We locked the door, and we had like our own little performance that night. That was really special. That was a good one, man. And yeah, I've been a fan ever since. And Do you have stuff on Bandcamp, or you have you pushed that
Unfortunately,
yet?
I don't
No.
use Bandcamp at the moment, but
I noticed you
I
have clothing now. Do you want to promote some of your clothing stuff, or?
yeah, that'd be super dope. So I've delved into designing a bit more. I've always kind of done design. I do my website, I do my CD graphics, all of my artwork for my songs, and now I've delved into just designing merch for myself. So you can find it at lord.co/shop, and it's one of those, those projects that you work on at home and you're like, wow, this is great. And yeah, I hope to just share it with people in person soon, because the fruits of this labor has been really fun, and I've learned so much about myself. I could also help any artists that need help, sorting out designs for their merch. I got you. I know my way around Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop and all that good stuff. And yeah, also branding and marketing ideas. Let's do this.
I got my attention right away. I noticed it. I think you updated it recently. I saw your page and I was like, oh, nice. And I was like, oh yeah, I got all those. I got like 40 hats still that I gotta I gotta sell. They're nice hats, the nice dad hats. And I got a few things I have in mind too for to utilize the logo
True.
and do some stuff. Yeah. So you were doing something. I think I was catching you. You were releasing a single like every other week. Am I correct, or is that or every
Every
or
20
month?
seconds. Every
Gotcha. Every month. Sorry, my bad. Sorry. Yeah, that's
yeah,
and where can we find most of that stuff?
Spotify, YouTube, all those places. And like most streaming services except for Bandcamp and like Reverb Nation and things. Like I just use DistroKid and it distributes them to all the stores that I guess it has connections to.
Yeah,
Um,
do you have a link like Linktree or like that or
I usually just like I either have it on my website or I just specifically tell people like, hey, I'm on these streaming services. But the day of, usually I do post up a link, and hopefully, but yeah, on the 22nd of every month, I release a single. This month, due to some creative differences, I had to I've pushed forward a new idea for release, and it's been a song that I've been touring around the city for quite a while, and I'm excited to share it. It's called "You." It's a radio single, and I love that song, and I'm about to let it go. This month for the very first time. It's been 17 weeks that I've been doing, so 17 months. I said weeks, but I've been releasing music on the 22nd every single month for 17 months. And I've learned so much about myself, so much
wow.
how to share. And it's really changed the way that I communicate. And I also know how I'm going to communicate after this pandemic. Um, and when I get to kind of reimagine myself, not only my social media presence, but reimagine myself as an artist. Um, there's a lot of new ideas that I have in the works right now. I'm working with a super talented producer at the moment. I produce myself, but this is the very first time I've kind of like branched out from the other producer I've been working with for a very long time. And I'm just really excited for this new stuff, and I'm really excited to share it.
Yo, well, the sound is dope, man, and your vibe is amazing, and it roots into the type of person you are, and just like your presentation as yourself as a person, and it emulates through your music. So and it's nice, and just you're an all around guy and a great guy, and I'm glad I met you, and we are slowly sizzling some things together. You and I did some couple songs that we started working on before the lockdown happened again.
Yep.
But yeah, we're gonna get back to that, and I believe I have I still have one a year. That's remember in November you dropped that, I believe. So that was the one you dropped when we had the live show, and or maybe a little later.
I,
I did a podcast again, or I did a live show in, I think it was March. That's what I did, and then I showcased you and the artist Lucy and the producer that I'm working with, this young man Anthony Church in Ohio.
oh yeah,
Um, yeah, dope beats. Oh, and by the way, here I just want to throw this out to you. I think I've said this to you before, and I've mentioned it to other rappers too. On Sunday, we do a show. Me and my buddy Paul in Edmonton. It's 8 o'clock, and it's all these same platforms. It's Twitch, YouTube, all that stuff. We just shoot the shit, and we just kind of like rehash the guests from Friday, and then Paul brings in a guest, and so we just talk more of the same style. But lately, I've brought in my buddy from Germany, and we've just kind of like freestyled a bit too. So
okay.
if you want to, I know you don't have the full capabilities to do that yet, but if it presents itself, and
I'm keen.
always ready to
On you, man.
have you on, and that'd be great to like kind of like bubble that idea up, or just I don't know, like get some practice in for myself at least, and so when we're ready to do that cipher thing together, I'm not just like a off season fucking out of shape, dude. It's like you can't. That's the same as rapping too, man. It's like there's off season and you gotta like train again. And to me, like if you're not freestyling, and to me, if you're not like doing the basic parts, it kind of doesn't work for me. It starts falling apart. So I'm glad you kind of reached out to me in that way with the cipher, because I felt vindicated to be part of it again. You know what I mean? Like I'm an older guy, so it's like I appreciate that reach out, and it's just like I do feel like there's more in me to do it in a better way too. So I strip away some, you know, not mistakes, things you learn. It's like, you just refine your style, and I don't want to let it slip away, right? Just
Yeah.
because of this pandemic, it's like it was easy to kind of do that when you're just online, and it's like, and part of me is like, I don't feel like a genuine rapper unless the freestyle is decent. And if it's like um not showcased, you know what I mean? Like, people say freestyling and it's just like something they've memorized,
Yeah.
but it's like I can do that, but it's like I want to show myself that that's the main aspect of all this stuff, right? All this other stuff is just like a nice extra stuff around it, but it's all got to come from the rapping, right? So,
I think you're being tough on yourself. I think
oh,
there's just there's just different forms of expression, and
yeah, true. That's
depending
true.
on how you value what you have to say, sometimes like it might take a bit longer for you to, create, the context for it, within hip hop. And
That's a great saying.
I also know like some ridiculously like unique artists who are able to do that like on the spot because it's just who they are. If that makes sense, like
Mm-hmm.
their lifestyle enables them to
Yeah,
do it. Like one of my favorite acts when it comes to just like freestyling and writing, and I'd love to hear him do as many songs as he can, is Branko.
yeah. Just
He,
off the top of his head, he's the one of the best.
and he's very very like positive and optimistic. So and also just thought provoking, like on the spot. It's like it's really brilliant stuff, So
Well, he did that. Like he put in legwork. Like he did host so many shows. He hosted like so many nights. I remember. I think he did the boat a lot, and he did lots of venues where it's like you got to be sharp and quick to keep the audience engaged and keep people there and stuff like that. So yeah, he put in that work, and he's really good at freestyling. It's like, to me, I'm not sad that I'm, because I know it's not my best part of the whole thing, but I know it's like an integral part of developing as a better writer, lyrical, presenter, all that stuff. Because I emphasize myself as a writer, I like think that that's my better suit, but I need all those other facets to make that better, to improve that as well too. So I'm just trying to find ways to do it now. So I think it's a really cool way to kind of like, because we had the same beats and I just gave it to him, so he did it in real time and I did it in real time. It's just cool. It's kind of like a BT the basement kind of thing. So I just we're gonna invite a bunch of people. I got some friends from around the globe.
Yeah.
They're gonna start to join us. So yeah, Sundays, you're welcome to come in anytime. And
Is that
I'm
8 a.m., by the way?
no, I'm not that eager.
8 p.m.
No, 8 p.m.
Okay,
And
yeah.
I'm gonna keep it at 8 p.m. because my Paul in Edmonton, and 6 p.m. for him, and my buddy, he's in Germany. He's a night owl, so he joins us at like 2 a.m. But yeah, it's we did a 5.5 hour show last Sunday. Oh my god, I had to cut my buddy off in Germany. I was like, enough, my head's gonna explode. It's like, but yeah, it's fun. So it presents an opportunity to kind of like get better at stuff like that, and
Yes, yes.
and keep the tools sharp. But man, thank you so much. I'm gonna squeeze in the next guest here and roll along. But man, what you're doing is so fantastic, and it's like for you to be doing that at this age and kind of like understanding the value of all that, like moving forward. I was speaking with a guest, or Nelson actually, we were speaking with about like the importance of kind of like moving forward out of this pandemic with like a solid foundation of music community, you know what I mean? And you're already way ahead of the curve with that, and it's showing through your music, man. It's great stuff, and I'm so looking forward to hearing what you got coming up, and what we're gonna work on. We're gonna work on a couple of tracks together, and
I gotta go in. I gotta really go in on some production, and you know, yeah, like I'm excited, to build. So, anyways, you've been such a healthy part of this entire process, and thank you for the opportunities, and thank you for being and adding value to the community so much. Thank you for that.
hey, I love making music, man. It's just like something you can't explain, right? Just it's good. Yeah, I hope next time we could do something in person. Could do like a thing, but that invitation's open Sunday night. Just let me know. Give me a holler, and we'll do some jamming.
I'll let you know. Yeah, hopefully we're able to organize something, and yeah. Anyways, thank you for today, and
No problem. Thank you.
bring on the next guest, and I'll see you, man.
All right. Peace. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Have a good night. So that was E.M.Lourde, local rapper from Scarborough, in Toronto here. And him and myself are working on some new material to be released. I don't know when, because I'm the procrastinator of all procrastination of finishing songs. But something soon is coming. Something new will be coming. And like I was speaking earlier in the broadcast, myself and a few other talented individuals managed to do a couple of live broadcasts from the Painted Lady venue in Toronto here, and we did a full broadcast, and we showcased EM one night, and you can check that full performance out on my YouTube channel here. Just look up E.M.Lourde, and he's fantastic rapper, amazing. He's got like kind of like style of like Kanye West, but a real ruggedness like Tupac. He's a great MC. He's got a lot of growth to go still, and a lot of like potential to really, really blow up. So thanks for coming in and being a guest, and gonna have my next guest come in, and we're gonna bring him in right here. Let's see. Hey, it works.
Yo,
Bamtone, how's it going?
good. And how's it going with you?
I'm great. Thanks for joining me tonight.
Thanks for the invite. Good to be here.
Yeah, so here we are, Brianne.
It's
And
been I haven't seen you in so long, so it's good to see
I
you.
know. You
It's been
too. And you're
years.
downtown, right?
Yeah, still downtown. I've been downtown for the last 11 years now.
I
So
think that's might have been the last time I seen you was downtown, or my sister's place.
yeah, exactly. At your sister's place, my girlfriend was living there at the time, and
Yeah,
then I went to your last place before you moved away from downtown. I don't know where you at now.
I'm in the beaches. I'm in the far
Oh,
east
okay.
end.
All right,
Yeah.
gotcha. That's a nice
Yeah, I
spot.
got away as far away as downtown as possible.
Far away.
I had a
from
bit of
all
a
the
hiatus. I kind of went. I went to Dominican for a month, and then I went on tour out east, and then I lived in Montreal for a month, and then I came here to the east end, and I was living in the east end of the friend's house, and house sitted in the beaches here, and just stumbled upon a place here,
Yeah.
and I got lucky. I just saw it in the window for rent, and called the lady right away, and
It all worked out.
and it's just like, here I am. And then 3 months into living here, it's like lockdown.
Yeah.
See you later.
Yeah.
Welcome.
We all know
So
about that.
it just put the brakes on my life, and it to be isolated in any neighborhood. I'm so fucking lucky. Like, this is one of the nicest neighborhoods I've
Yeah.
ever lived in. It's literally 2 seconds from the beaches, and pretty much saved my sanity probably.
Yeah, that's what you want. Close to the water
Yeah.
really helps during the lockdown. We always walk to the waterfront every day. There's ducks and swans, so you get that nature in you, and it just helps.
Yeah, and I've been speaking with all my guests of like what they've been doing. The lockdown, a lot of people have been doing music online. Some people have done a lot of production. Has it slowed down for you, or increased, or you've caught up on stuff, or what
Yeah,
has
the
been?
way that my life kind of played out is I spent most of my life on the road and touring with various bands worldwide. I was in this band, Fiddle Celtic band with step dancers and all that. So we used to tour everywhere in Europe and the States. So I toured with that for like 20 years. But then maybe 5, 6 years ago, I started Bamtone, which is kind of songwriting for film and television. So when I started that, it kind of took the place of touring because I just got burnt out from touring. I just needed a little break, something different. I wanted to go into the studio creative aspect of music. So when Bantone started doing all right, that's kind of when COVID hit. So
So your
it kind
timing
of,
was immaculate.
yeah, it just kind of took over. So I just went from spending a lot of time in the studio to a lot of time in the studio. so so it was it all played out pretty good for me. I did I was still doing some touring, so that kind of got shoved to the side. But with all my work from whether it be for commercials or for sports networks or from writing full on I write a lot of instrumentals and songs, so just writing all those
Scores and
tracks. Yeah, exactly. Anything that for from TV shows like Catfish to Netflix like Shameless and Riverdale. So it's a wide span. So I kind of got into the groove of being able to understand all the instruments and trying to play everything, and that kind of took me 10 years. But in the making, when COVID hit, just to say everything was kind of taking off, and it was a good year last year for me in that world. And this year is kind of the same thing. It didn't slow down. Opened up in the States lately, so that's good. So yeah, it's just kind of toughed it out, and by chance, it's still music, so that's what I want to do. I've been a musician since I was 11, like playing bars or little shows here and there. So it's always been about music for me.
Well, yeah, that's just timing is on your side with all that experience and background, and you already kind of had that mode going.
Yeah.
And so moving forward, do you see yourself doing more of that, like as a 9 to 5, kind of like working at home, doing stuff like that, or and
Yeah,
would you do less touring and like?
Yeah, totally. Because that was kind of
It's a grind. Yeah.
yeah, it is. It's a different kind of grind, but it's definitely a grind. And when I started Bamtone 11, 12 years ago, that was my focus for it to kind of take over, because I knew that I was getting burnt out from being on the road. We'd go on the road for like sometimes 15-week tour in Europe or 15-week tour in the States. And
That's a chunk of time, man.
yeah, it is. And it kind of gets, it's great. It's when I was young, it's what I wanted to do. But then everything kind of takes its toll, and being in a band is hard. I was kind of the co-manager of the band too, and then I had to get up and sing the songs and perform and manage.
Wow, that's
So
a lot to do.
yeah, it got kind of to a breaking point. So for Bamtone to take over like that, and it was a really slow start for 5, 6 years. There was nothing going on, but I stuck with it, and I knew that I had to put a lot of time and effort into it and record a lot of songs, because right now I'm sitting on 4,000 tracks with SoCan. So I'm at
Oh,
that point
jeez.
now where, because even when I started, I was still touring, but on the road, I would get up at 7 a.m. and I'd be at Tim Hortons and mixing tracks, trying to figure stuff out with my
Wow, that's a tough
headphones.
balance. Yeah.
Yeah, so there was no days off for at least 7 years or so, where I just really, really gave it my all and tried to figure it out. And it pays off whenever you get to that discipline point, and you just want to do it, and you kind of see what the end result is going to be. You want to put the work in. There's no question about it. There's some days that I'd want to just work a day job. Yeah, but something inside me was just saying, no, don't give up. Just stick with it. And I did. So, and I'm really happy I did, because now it's a full-time job now. I don't need to tour. I'm at a point where I have enough music libraries around the world working my tracks. I have over 30 libraries, just publishers, like different deals going on for different, whether it be sports networks or TV shows. It's all different. They're all focused on, when you put out something, it's just something that comes out from somewhere. You can't explain it, but it's something that's personal and just makes you feel good, and as if you're doing your passion, what you're here to share with the world. So it's great.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. And it's the dream, right? To like sit at home, create something, and it goes out there, goes through some channels, and there's money in your bank account. Like that's the ultimate.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
because you put in so much work, and you have all that experience, and like you said, you were ready to get into like home mode of recording, you're able to pump out so much. And then it's just like, as you continue with a day-to-day job like this, it's just revenue constantly coming, and it's out
Yeah.
there. Once it's out there, it's just like can only gain, right? Like
Yeah,
it's how much time you put
there's
in, right?
and just the competitiveness in this market, just like anything else, like an artist, not I don't competitiveness is kind of a rough word, but because you just got to get to
To
a point where
juggle it,
people
all of it,
want
I
to
think
listen to
is
you.
like, yeah,
But there's some breaking points when you're kind of debating, can I really do this? And it's hard, and you're on a world market and competing with great artists, and you want to be good, you want to be great. So to really show up every day and work your craft to a point where you're your own boss, really. I wasn't answering to anybody with Bamtone. It's just me showing up every day. Okay, I needed to have kind of a routine. Okay, I'm gonna
it's your own
write.
motivation. Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of gotta. Okay, how many songs? I started writing 100 tracks a year, and it's like, no, it's not enough. So I spun it up to 250 a year. Wasn't enough. One year I ended up doing 650 a year, and
Holy
then
shit.
it cracked. That's when it
Yeah,
cracked. When I had 2,500 tracks in my catalog, that's when I kind of saw, okay,
because it's
I
an
can ease off a
algorithm.
little.
You got to hit it, right? Like it's
Yeah,
a,
and something happens, you get that catalog build up,
yeah.
but you also get better. And well, I wrote my first song when I was 35, so I toured for the first 35 years of my life. Wrote my first song when I
Wow.
was that age because we had a songwriter for our band. I was just the singer. So with this, it was. I thought it was going to be a smooth transition, but it was not. It was like no joke, 6 to 7 years of nothingness and just training my brain differently to be able to understand how to record compressors, EQs, lyrics, everything. So it's fun though. It was fun.
Yeah, because I think you're breaking up. We'll see if we.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there. It's just a little delayed. No, it's like
Uh,
it's fun to conceive the whole thing. Like you write it, perform it, compose it, and then to have full ownership of all that, and then distribute it, and then work hard to get it out there, and then see the benefits of it, and then like
mm,
putting in all that work, you know, and then you're going to see the repercussions after because you own it all. Like you own your masters, the composition, and your publishing, right? So
yeah, I mean it all.
it's worth to put the time in, really. It's
Yeah,
like,
totally. Because I was finding out that if I do co-writes and I choose my co-writers carefully. I know if I want to do a
yeah,
rock album, I can co-write with this guy. He's got that sound down. But when I started, I was waiting on people to just do everything for me. I was writing and singing,
yeah,
but then and I was waiting a lot, and it wasn't to my speed. So I thought, well, I need to learn how to do basically everything. So you kind of start YouTubing stuff and ask questions at mixing guys, and it all starts to make sense because they all started somewhere. So you can start wherever you start is fine. Just pick a
start,
point and say, yeah, just start, do it. It's always a
start,
good
yeah,
it's always
yeah.
a good time to do it.
Exactly. It's like anything. It's like with just podcasting, with just live streaming, with
Yeah.
everything. Just start it, yeah. And there's so much YouTube videos you can check out and like just talk to people, and yeah, even this thing, I wasn't sure, and I spoke to people in the business, and there was not too many people that were doing this, and now it's like it's blown up so much. Like the software is like so much more easily available, and it's just growing and growing. But it's like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
I
how much
know.
you want to
Yeah.
learn.
With podcasts, I don't know anything about this world at all. It's just not something that I'm experienced yet. So, but yeah, with this, it's all good.
Well, I had one already. I was just audio, and
Oh
I
yeah.
was speaking to solo artists. And then I had one tour just before the lockdown, and I spoke with one artist, and her and I were kind of like laughing about it in a way. It's recorded, like mocking it in a way, and I'm like, oh fuck, I really ate that. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, I thought, oh, I can continue this and just do video form now, and this is a way of kind of like connecting with the people that I've met that are musicians in the city, just
Mm.
personally, from touring, and people in Europe that I've met all over. And so when things do get going again, if I do tour, then those connections are replenished, and they're kind of like, um, I've stayed connected, and
Totally, and that's the whole key to. It's all about adapting, especially for
yeah,
artists and touring artists. This
yeah,
is a total hell. It couldn't be worse for us. But the thing that you found something to keep you busy and keep you in the loop and keep you connected. I mean, isn't that what it's all about? It's about surviving this COVID thing, and it will clear up. It has to, and it will. So whenever it does, we'll be ready. Just got to wait it out a little bit, I guess.
yeah. And it's weird watching things like in the States where it's just like, okay, what's going on, and it's like
Yeah, I talked to
full
my
open, and
American friends, and they're like, "Yeah, we're totally up. We've had enough. We're open, and you watch ball games, and there's people in the stands, high fiving, and I don't know.
because
It's
that's
not
my
how.
job. That's weird to watch because I'm part of the in arena
Yeah,
entertainment part for the Raptors and the Leafs, and I'm watching that same league where we can't do that here, and they're in like other cities. There's fans in there,
yeah, I know.
and they ship the Raptors to Tampa, so it's like,
And the Jays are
but
I don't know where,
well,
somewhere
the
else.
Jays are a weird one because I
Buffalo or
think
something.
yeah, they got the green light from provincially, but they didn't get the okay federally.
Ah, okay.
So they went ahead with training and practicing here, and then they're like, no, 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 we didn't say yes yet. So they had to like last minute try and find some places, and then they ended up in Buffalo. But
I mean, who
yeah,
knows? Who
who
knows, man?
knows?
It's like this second wave is just feels like it's been a long time, and it's I think we all feel it a bit more. And even where I'm from in Nova Scotia, where they used to have no cases, they're at 200 or 300 cases a day, which isn't much if you talk about Ontario, but there with the population, it's
Yeah.
pretty serious, and they're all it's not a good scene, and I can't go home for now, so.
Well, that was all locked. It's still kind of like isolated as its own entity, like the Maritimes.
Yeah, the bubble thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like it was a good idea to
Mm.
begin. It seemed like it contained it for a while, and then I guess things got lax, and I don't know. Who
Yeah,
knows?
just in the last 3 to 4 weeks. Before that, it was still zero cases. So it's just with this last wave, they're feeling it all over the place. So I don't know. No East Coast
Yeah.
tours yet for you.
No, but I squeezed a lot in before. I was on a
Yeah.
roll before that. I was literally on in Ottawa and like came home, and the next day it was all done,
Really? Yeah.
shut down. We did one last Leaf game,
Hmm.
and then the next day I was actually in the arena doing the house lights for some commercial. They're shooting the Raptors championship banner,
Hmm.
and it's nobody in there. So I've been there a few times when there's completely nobody, and I like it. It's like a nice, relaxing feeling, right?
Yeah.
But for some reason, I was leaving that building, and I had this bad feeling in me, like really bad feeling, like I'm not coming back here for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's
'Cause
weird. It just, yeah, I just had this feeling. Yeah.
yeah, when I remember when they announced that the hockey, they were canceling hockey. I was
Well,
like,
they were
oh
the
yeah, this is
last. They
serious.
did, yeah,
Yeah, it was kind of the last thing to go.
basketball and the other guys. But yeah, it's weird. And then at the same time, it's like, okay, that's serious. Like, I know if the NBA shuts down, this is pretty serious. But
Mm.
I was in Seattle and Portland in January, did like a mini tour,
Oh yeah.
and the last, I think it was like January 30th or something, 29th, we were in Seattle, and that last day we were there was the first recorded case in the States. It was a lady in Washington State.
Oh, you're talking January 2020.
Yeah, sorry, my
All
bad.
right.
Not this
Okay.
couple months ago. No,
All
I didn't go to
right.
the States a few months ago.
No.
No, January 2020, before all this lockdown.
Oh,
But
really? Okay.
yeah, it was weird to look back on it after and be like, oh fuck.
Yeah. So what happened? You just took the next flight back, and then did you
No, there
finish?
wasn't anything about it because it was in China
Yeah.
and nothing had hit North America yet,
Right.
and they didn't make any announcement yet. And then I didn't realize till after, like that was the first recorded day. We were like in the same state. It was like, but
Right.
yeah, and also my friend who was with me, he was supposed to go to China, but he was getting a hard time from the Alberta embassy, and he decided to come with me to Seattle and Portland. And the whole time he's there, he's like looking on his cell phone, and he's like, "You know what's going on in China?" He's like, "There's a locking down cities of like 11 million people," and I'm like, It's in mind blowing to think about,
I know.
but
And look
just
at
like
us now. It's
looking at it
crazy.
on footage, and it's just like, oh, okay. It didn't seem like it was possible to come, and then it just showed up. It was like, oh, of course, yeah. That's if it
Yeah.
spreads anywhere, it's gonna.
And basically here in Toronto, we got it rough a little bit. We've been in lockdown since basically November.
Yeah,
Like since then, it hasn't really opened up again. So
we're one of the longest now. I've
the world
sensed.
record.
Yeah, I think so. We're good at something. I don't know if I can.
Yeah, there you go. Go TO.
Fucking.
All we need is a Stanley Cup to go with that.
You know what? I was gonna put money on it because this is I'm not working
Don't.
with I'm working with not working with the team this year. I've worked with
Yeah.
the team for 15 years,
Mm.
and it's like I bet you they win the Stanley Cup this year. The year that I don't, that
Imagine.
I'm not around, and I
Yeah.
can't, like
God,
whatever.
of course.
But I got to experience the basketball Raptor finals.
Oh,
that was kinda cool.
were you there for that? You were doing that?
Yeah,
camera stuff?
I was part of the whole scoreboard crew, and
Awesome.
I was ready to run on the court. I had all my instructions of where I was allowed to shoot in Game 5, and then they lost, and then they won in Golden State. So
Right,
it was,
right. But would you still have clearance to go watch the games now?
no,
No.
because it's so strict,
Mm.
and they had all the hockey teams quarantined in different hotels,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then they had all the crew separated in hotels, and it was a very small crew. It was a skeleton crew.
Mm-hmm.
In the summer they came in, and NBC came, so there was some American workers, but that was part of a contract because NBC owns part of Rogers
There you go.
for hockey. So
Okay.
that was the thing. but my thing is part of like the fan experience. So there's no fans, then no need for us.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Um, so
For now.
yeah, and then the Raptors left, and now the Leafs have been back. It's like, but I went out for drinks with a few of the guys way back in the summer, and I wouldn't be able to go in. I need clearance from somebody. My pass wouldn't work. Couldn't go in.
Mm-hmm.
They'd make me like, "What do you here?" I haven't even attempted to go. I no
It's
reason
probably
to
high
go there.
security, I bet. I mean, it has to at that
Yeah,
point, and they can't sneak in anybody. And
the last actually since the lockdown in December, I haven't been anywhere outside of the beaches. I went up to my sister's in Newmarket for like a week in the end of February, but nothing. I've really kind of been a homebody,
yeah, us
and
too, same thing.
yeah. But right as it happened last year, at the beginning, I had like this journalistic instinct because the root of my essence of a rapper is kind of like to be a reporter, you know. And I've always that was one of my first jobs, and I've always like documented things. I documented like the Iraq War protests here, the G20, the a couple key things, and I was like, this is never going to happen again. This is crazy. This is unprecedented. So I just went out with my camera. First 2 weeks in lockdown, I got all this shit, like all this chaos, like going grocery store and like empty streets. And so I got all this footage and I started to documentary.
Mm.
And it's like still going on. And I'm going to use my instrumentals from my previous album and
Yeah,
just lay it under and show visuals. And it's just going to be like a non-verbal kind of documentary, you know, just like
yeah, and that's great because I kind of saw the same. We were
yeah,
walking the streets like when they're empty. It's just it makes no sense how a city this
makes
alive
no
could
sense.
just go dead, and to be in the state it's in right now. I know in the beginning last March 2020. I remember just going around the Sky Dome and the CN Towers, just nothing. We were just me and
Nothing.
my girlfriend walking around, very eerie, and on King Street where it used to be just on a Saturday night empty, and it
But
used to be packed on a Monday night. So very cool that you took some footage. That's going to be wicked, wicked.
yeah, I put it all to it was like 3 weeks of footage, so like hours
Yeah.
and hours and hours of footage. So I've meddled through most of it,
Hmm.
and I've whittled it down to about an hour and a half. So now I gotta condense it more because I gotta get it below a time of attention span. I'm not gonna make something that's like 45 minutes. So I'm gonna narrow it down to like 20 minutes or something. I'm gonna be like some sort of just visual timeline, you know.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah, totally.
there's nothing to it. It's just like cut and paste, and
Hmm.
but it's tedious of in the case of like volume of footage and stuff like that.
Yeah, what are you gonna
Uh,
take? What gets the cut?
well, most of it because I think it's just like how much of it do I use? Do I use a second of this or I use a yeah? But yeah, I've gone through most of that where you throw the junk away.
Mm.
But yeah, I focused a lot on editing a lot the last year and podcasting and stuff like that. Is there something that like you've worked on your production at home and business and stuff? Do you feel like you got like a mental rest and like a physical rest? So it's definitely a physical rest from touring and like able to refresh and get back to some other things and
Yeah, I'd say so. just like you explained it, there comes a point when, for 7 or 8 years or whatever, that like around that's the time that it took for me to get from a bit of success and being able to live from what I do. So after starving, and believe me, I did starve. I know how to budget my money and live on nothing because I've been a
Yeah.
musician all my life. So there's ups and downs. But when you start when you start getting some traction with the tracks, and you get to know people, because I did a lot of conferences in the States too, so I had to really focus. Okay, am I going to spend money going to a conference in LA, or is it going to be Hawaii, or is it going to be Toronto, or is it so that there's all these questions. What are you going to budget your money on? Because just I was very lucky that with in the studio you don't need much. I got my laptop, I got this mic which I record everything with. This is my go-to mic. I've had this mic for 11 years. I record guitar with this, my
That's a Shure
vocal.
mic, or
Yeah, it's a Beta 87A. So it's kind of condenser, and I can't if I'd have a mic like you, it would pick up too much. I'm in a condo here, and there's
too
like
much room? Yeah.
too
Yeah.
much. I can't have that much a sensitive mic. So that one just worked great. Because I remember when I started out, I was even just recording in the corner of our bedroom. So just
A lot of corners in the bouncing. A lot of bounce.
so just kind of figuring everything out, just living, and then when it finally opened up, I could kind of relax and say, okay, important for if you finally get success, you kind of got to reward your body and say, okay, you can ease the tension a little bit, and you take your foot off the gas, and just a little bit. I mean, I'm still recording and all that, but right now I'm at a point where I just take off on the weekends. I work basically from 9 to 5. I treat it more like a day job now, where okay, I create in the morning. I'm usually editing tracks, and in the afternoon, 3 o'clock, I take my coffee. I create a track. That's my writing time. I like between 3 and 5 writing lyrics or coming up with melodies and stuff. So with that
Yeah.
routine going, it kind of works, and I have time to kind of enjoy life a little bit more, get out of the city every now and then, which I just didn't let myself. I'm really a hard boss. When I set a goal and I want to attain it, I'm just going to do whatever it takes till I get it. So you kind of tell yourself when you're in that building mode of your career, hey, can't do this right now. You can't go to that Jays game this afternoon. You're going to have to work a deadline that's due tomorrow, whatever. Just music was number one. So right now I find that what's different is exactly that I did the time, and now it's time to coasting would be too much of a free word because I'm still working at it now, and I absolutely love it. And it's you get that freedom when you get into the zone. It's like a meditation. You're somewhere else when your time kind of stops and you're writing a song. You don't even notice what time it is. So it's a spiritual thing to a certain point.
Froze for a second.
It's all good. It's all about having fun and doing what you love.
Yeah, no, and that's from all your dedication, and that's love, it's like, and that's riding the wave, like you said, and that's understanding that of all that work you put in, and then if you still maintain it, you're gonna ride that wave, and you understand now you can allocate your time properly and a little better, and give yourself a little bit of a relief, and that routine is so important, of like able to juggle so many things. And this is the important thing as a self-made business person. If you got to do social media, you got to produce, you got to do all this stuff. If you're thinking about all this stuff, it's a lot to take on. So if you allocate the times properly and like, these are my writing times, these are my things, you knock off so much stuff so quicker. And I felt like I started getting to the point again where I was overwhelming myself with too much stuff, because I started this podcast again. And I was like, what's wrong with you? Just write it down. Like, give yourself some time and separate it, and just treat this like a 9 to 5 job.
Yeah, that's the only
So
way to do it. Totally. Yeah.
I'm the exact same way. I get up, do yoga, or I work out. I get that in. I have a little video that I post, an IG post. I have something ready right away in the morning, so it hits that traffic in the morning.
Yeah. Good point. Good point right there.
And then I get on my Twitter and my Facebook, and I'm sharing my music. I'm getting on playlists. I'm getting sharing all this stuff, getting on radio stations, getting on shows, and getting my YouTube clips into playlists and stuff like that, and networking like crazy.
Yeah, it's
And
you got to have that balance, and it's like I every Monday
balance for sure.
I do my admin, so I'll record the tracks all week. Then Monday is admin, so whatever tracks I produce, I make sure they're living somewhere with a publisher or music library, and they're registered with
That's great.
SOCAN. So if you can't overlook those things, because as much as you say you don't want to make money, you need money to eat and keep on being healthy and keep on creating music. So
It's so much fun though to make money off it. It's like,
yeah, that's
it's
the bonus.
amazing. Like it's
Oh,
I'm so glad you're telling me this, and I'm so refreshed hearing it, because I've been working really hard at this, and I'm like, hearing you say this, and like, you're years ahead of me of what you've done, but I feel like I'm kind of on the tail end of the same thing of what you did. Not as much road experience, but I put in work, and I feel like it's all culminating now for me. So I'm seeing like the dollars coming in with DistroKid, because I started figuring it out in January,
right,
of how to build this up. And I can see this as a viable source of income for me moving forward, because I have the catalog now. I have 25 songs. I have 8 music videos. I have all this footage, and I can allocate it in so many different ways and so many different platforms, that if I just treat it like a 9 to 5 job, I could just keep pushing stuff out. And I cleaned up all the part of my business part, the SOCAN. I cleaned up all those numbers, ISRC numbers, the things that were like unfinished. I dug deep and realized that my first catalog on CD Baby wasn't closed. So my publishing has been cut off for like 7 years.
That's a lot.
So I closed that off. Good thing I didn't put out stuff digitally till like 4 years ago. So I know they can go back 3 years and get money. I'm learning so much about that. And what I'm learning too is that a lot of artists don't know much about this part. And there's a whole untapped resource of knowledge, and like educating each other with a few simple things, and getting connected. It was so important with this networking of like artists. I learned with visual artists that you need a good visual piece of art to push your single too. So it's like, not only do you need to hook up with good videographers and producers, like you need to network with artists, visual artists, and people that curate playlists and stuff like that, and push stuff like that. So there's a whole branch of networking now.
Yeah, totally.
So
And
9 to 5.
the thing is too is you're a tour. You will continue touring, so that's kind of that's how you're building your fan base. When I was with Bamtone, I was thinking, well, if I'm going to be an artist and releasing my stuff on Spotify, etc., how am I going to build a fan base? But the way I did it was just through getting my songs on big TV shows and getting on their playlists got me all
Huge.
the,
Yeah.
yeah, you land on playlists, and so I'm kind of a that's because Bamtone doesn't tour, but I I generate I'm just continuously plugging some new material out there and getting my stuff placed, so it kind of generates some stir on Spotify and all that, so it kind of gets to me that way, whereas you're more of a fan base, so my approach is different. So there's always different approaches that you can make work
Oh
in your
yeah.
favor. What's universal is we all got to work with, if you're a musician, we all got to work with Spotify and Tidal and Napster. We got to, it's all we got. That's what we got right now. So instead of saying, oh, it doesn't pay, well,
No.
it does for
There's
some people.
It does, and there's
So
lots of bags of money available for this. It's like,
yeah, yeah. So it's I find that I love it that I'm hearing your success and that it's going well. So that's great.
it's just starting. Like I'm
Yeah.
just starting to get um DistroKid money in,
Mm-hmm.
and I got everything sorted out with Sound Exchange and Sound Trust, so I'm not going to see any of that for a year.
Yeah, it takes time.
As far as SOCAN is concerned, I just got all my stuff corrected with them last summer, and I spoke with them on the phone, and they're like a year behind on stuff.
Yeah,
So
international especially.
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna see stuff for a little bit, but it's already starting to come, and I'm seeing the fruits of 9 to 5 in it. And
Yeah.
so I've treated it like something that's not grueling.
Mm.
It's like I spend an hour and a half at it, and I walk away, and then I have Thursdays is making music.
Yeah,
No matter what,
exactly.
I make a little bit of music, but I'm not stressing on completing things. Like if you have a deadline because you have specific clients that need things right away, and that's a. But me, I don't have anybody to give anything like that to, so I have to
Right.
kind of like make my own um, deadlines.
Yeah, make your own deadlines. Yeah, it's. But the thing about SOCAN and stuff like that, how it's important. When I started out, when I was 3 years or 4 years in, I actually went to their office and we put my account on their big screen, and I said, "Am I doing it right?" I just wanted to make
Wow, that's
sure.
really
So
hands on.
you kind of got to go to that extra step just to make sure you're covered, because there's really horror stories about
It's
artists just
tedious. Yeah.
being signing the wrong contract or not having all the shit lined up, so what you have coming to you gets to you, even if it's after a year, at least it gets to you. But it's just got to be it's very simple when you see it laid out, and you just got to do it. Take that admin day out of the week and
I'm
do it.
so glad you said that, because that just took the words right out of my mouth. Of like Sony approached me a couple of years ago through some publishing group I was working with. Really angered me in their lack of effort, but that's another story. I met with these two guys at Sony on Spadina in a small place, and they had success. You know, they did a couple things for Drake and a few
Nice.
other artists, and so they had the credentials. But to me, they didn't really sell me on the value of my stuff. They were just kind of gassing me up in a way like that I was going to hand it over to them. Like they wanted my catalog and my logo, and they were going to do stuff with my logo, and they were like, here, 50%, own the masters, own you on Spotify for 7 years, And then so I spoke. I met with them. You know, I looked into it, and I was just like, it's not for me because I feel like if they're excited about this and actually got them, you know, wanting to be part of this, I'm like, I just need to build it up myself a little bit more. I'm almost there.
Yeah.
And I looked at the criteria that they were going to do, and I'm like, that's not a lot of hard shit. It's just like a couple tedious things. And I ran through half the list. It's just like getting your verification for Spotify. And it's like all these things that I know you're unfamiliar with it as an artist. Most artists are unfamiliar with a lot of stuff like this. But when they try and sell you on these things, these deals, they act like it's such hard things to do. Like
I
there
know
are
it.
people who are people that experts that use that and have connections that'll get you exposure and stuff like that. But it's worth it to learn all that stuff, learn how to put yourself in SOCAN to get your numbers and all that. It's worth it to have yourself covered and all that. And then if you're going to be dedicated, it's
And
worth it, right?
I kind of want to believe that a lot of artists nowadays are going independent, and they educate themselves way more than before. And
Oh yeah.
you got to be careful when they say they want to own the masters, because owning the masters means you're giving a lot of your everything, your control
Away.
away. And that's the only clause that whenever a company, a publisher or a music library is talking about taking my masters, I just said, you lost me.
Yeah.
And it is that
Yeah.
way. A lot of people, there's a lot of exclusive publishing deals where they say, yeah, but we want to, we can't, we can't not have the masters because your stuff will be all over the world with sub publishing deals and all that. So I said, okay, well, it's not. That's the only. That's where I kind of hold the line. I just say no. It's not going to happen with
Yeah.
me. I need to release my stuff on Spotify myself because I have a following, and I know that if you do, I'll get 20 streams, and
They won't do anything with it.
no. So it's. I kind of stopped that, and I got burned on one album where I said, okay, I'm going to try it out, and I did, and it's exactly like I thought it was. That album is like 20 streams or something. So it's
Well, it's the same. Yeah,
gotta
it's
watch
like
it.
if you want to do it right, you do it yourself, right? And
Yep, basically.
but it's I kind of went through a similar thing with this publishing company in Montreal.
Oh, are you? Your audio there? You're there
Yeah,
now.
it went out for a sec. Yeah, I think I might have to wrap this up soon.
Wrap it up.
That's what the equipment's telling me. But yeah, I went through a similar situation where I gave them money and it was like, aren't you gonna fucking push this? It's like, aren't you gonna fucking put some effort into putting it out there? I think they just had connections and they had the Rolodex of emails and they just did it out like normal. And it's like if I had that list, I would have pushed it out with some emphasis because I'm trying to sell myself. And they're like, oh, CBC was interested in doing like an indie artist spotlight on you. I was like, all right, well, tell them I'm interested. And they didn't get back to them till like a little later. It's like, well, give me their fucking number. I'll speak to them. Like, and I had that experience kind of like managing Ben for my buddy for the first 10 years and all trial and error of like, so I booked all my own shows and it's not that much different than putting yourself out there publishing wise. You just need to kind of like get a neat and tidy electronic press kit, get a website together, and have a couple of things online, and then you just package it in a nice like legible, presentable email, and you get on fucking Twitter and Facebook and you start reaching out to these, so it's doable in a way like that, and it's time consuming, but like once you get it all out there and you realize how many different ways and artistic ways there are to kind of like do your music in many different facets, right? Like it's
Yeah. And it's all about, I
lo-
mean, what's more powerful for an artist than actually performing and gaining an audience that way and gaining fans and actually
yeah, the
touching
best way.
them. And so that's the best way. Now that's kind of wiped out for a little bit, but
Yeah.
the next is, yeah, like you said, dealing with figuring out the social media thing. And what are you going to hire people for? Like, are you going to hire a radio tracker, which I've tried that just for shits and giggles last year, and it's nothing. So you spend $400 to make $10. So it's who's making money, not the artist, but
Yeah, I'll gladly like walk through with younger artists too, because with my 10 years I've gone through the ringer with this, like, and I was right from the beginning. Like 10 years ago I had my first album uh with CD Baby, and
yeah.
everything was all lined up. I had my music videos with Rumblefish, and money started coming, and that was like 9 years ago. And if I just left it, I'd be making good money now. But for
Mm,
some reason, I pulled it out of the catalog, which never do. If you put it out there, don't try
yeah,
and get
yeah,
it back. That's the hardest thing to fucking do.
I agree.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, with all that trial and error, I've kind of learned now, and I learned how it works from networking to get it on a playlist and seeing the results after.
Mm,
And it's an algorithm and it's an AI, all this stuff that generates money for you. So it's a way of like
mm,
engaging it. You know what I mean? Because it looks at these things, these patterns. And once you get in these patterns, it starts going, like you said, with the amount of catalog you have. So what I've noticed with Spotify now is that I've built up and built up enough. So now it's made its own playlist for me
yes.
out of Spotify, sponsored by McDonald's, right? So it's like I want to push that one because I know there's ad money in it too, right?
Yeah, right.
So you push that.
Yeah, I know, and that stuff all happens after you get your street cred, after you get a lot of tracks, and you just gotta keep on. Whenever somebody just asks me, well, when is it gonna happen for me, or I said, just stop worrying about that stuff and write, and it'll
Just do what you
happen.
can now,
Something
and
will
then
break in
yeah,
your favor, but you just gotta keep at it and just stop overthinking stuff. It will happen. You're going to get better, and people will listen, and your songs will get around. It has to. You have to get better. If you stay in the game, you'll never lose ever.
that's the best advice, and I really appreciate you
I
for
think.
saying that, man.
Okay, I'm going to
That's
stop
great.
with that. So that's
Yeah.
my last final thought.
All right, we're gonna Costanza it. We're gonna go
All
on
right,
on a high note. We're gonna go out. But
go
man,
out with a bang.
it's so a Bamtone. We'll go out on a
Yeah.
Bamtone.
Gotcha. You got it, man.
um, it's so reassuring to hear you have gone through this. Like I'll say this again, and it's making me feel a lot better today. So thank you for explaining all that to the viewers and everything. And it gives me a little validation of what I've been trying to explain to worried families and of
Yeah.
like, what are you going to do for the rest of your life? I'm like, this is what I've been trying to do for 20 years, and it's just starting.
It's
So
frustrating, but it's worth it.
it's so reassuring to see see you being satisfied with it, and I can see it in your voice. Like we're all dealing with lockdown shit, but it's like at least it's helping you kind of like
Yeah,
be positive, you know.
life goes on. Do what you love, and it will happen. So good luck to you, and you better keep in touch too.
We will for sure, and I really appreciate you coming on and doing this. Thank you so much, and
We'll have a
Bandcamp Friday.
we'll have a pint post lockdown someday.
Yeah, so we're gonna hit you up on Bandcamp as well. You're on Bandcamp, or
I'm not on Bandcamp. I just
no?
got
You're not on
one.
Bandcamp. My bad.
I'm
Sorry.
Spotify and all that stuff. I'm on
On your
there.
website, we can catch you.
YouTube. Yep, on the website too. So yeah, thanks a lot for having me.
Awesome.
All
Thank
right.
you, sir.
All
Have a
right.
great
See you.
evening. Peace,
Bye.
man. Cheers. That was my good buddy Bamtone, and yeah, he's living in downtown Toronto here, on the central part downtown, and yeah, he does a lot of East Coast stuff. He did back in the day, and he's a veteran of touring, and he's slowly making a living, you know, chilling at home, making music. So yeah, I had a great show tonight. We had E.M.Lourde on and had Bamtone you just saw. So thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna wrap this up, and this is my new time slot for the podcast. I've decided to go earlier now. Instead of starting at 9, I'm going to be finishing around this time. So I'm going to start at 7 o'clock moving forward, on and on. So thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. And it is Bandcamp Friday. If you want to check out my albums, they're all on Bandcamp. AM Grinding, my new album is for sale. You can check it out, and that's on Bandcamp. So thanks for everybody for tuning in. Thanks EM for being a guest, and thanks Bamtone for being a guest. I'll see you next Friday, or no, we're gonna see you on Sunday with Paul music show. All right, folks, have a great night.